True leadership isn't about the title you hold, it's about the impact you make without needing to prove it. Sigma females are natural-born leaders, but here's the twist. They often hate being in charge. This might sound confusing at first. How can someone so powerful and capable resist the very thing the world associates with leadership? The answer lies deep within their nature. Sigma females lead differently. They don't chase authority or crave control. Their strength comes from quiet confidence, independence, and an unwillingness to sacrifice their freedom for a label or position. If you're a Sigma female, know this. Your resistance to traditional leadership isn't a weakness. It's proof of your authenticity. You don't need a crown or a corner office to influence, inspire, or change the game. You lead by example, by thought, by presence, not by shouting orders or fitting into old-fashioned roles that drain your energy. You might feel misunderstood or overlooked because you don't play by the usual rules, and that's exactly why you're rare and valuable. Your path is your own, and the world desperately needs leaders like you. Those who lead without forcing, who empower without controlling, and who stay true no matter what. So hold on to your unique way of leading. It's not about rejecting power. It's about redefining it. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. Number 1. She'd rather be the catalyst than the queen. A Sigma female isn't interested in sitting on a throne or wearing a crown. The idea of ruling over others, of holding power just for power's sake, feels stale and hollow to her. What truly excites her is starting the fire, the spark that shakes things up and sets change in motion. She's the force that cracks the foundation, challenges the status quo, and turns complacency into chaos. Her genius is in disruption, not domination. She knows that real growth doesn't come from controlling the aftermath, but from igniting the bold ideas and movements that reshape everything. Unlike traditional leaders who crave the spotlight and the perks of control, she prefers to stay in the background once the revolution begins. She doesn't want to govern the ruins or micromanage the rebuild. Her role is the spark, the catalyst, the one who gets things moving and then steps away, letting others handle what comes next. This mindset makes her unpredictable and powerful. She's not tied down by the weight of responsibility that comes with long-term rule. Instead, she thrives on the thrill of change, the chaos of new beginnings, and the freedom to move on to the next big idea or battle. For the Sigma female, leadership isn't about climbing ladders or hoarding influence. It's about breaking ladders and forcing others to build new ones. She's here to disturb the comfortable and inspire others to wake up, not to hand out orders or demand loyalty. If you're a Sigma female, know this. Your strength lies in your ability to ignite the future, not in controlling it. Be proud of the fires you start. Don't feel pressured to wear the crown. Your power comes from being the spark no one saw coming, and that's far more valuable than any throne. Number 2. She's a visionary, not a manager. There's a huge difference between managing and leading, and the Sigma female lives on the visionary side of that line. She's not here to babysit broken systems or chase after people who can't pull their own weight. She's wired for what's next, for bold ideas, fresh thinking, and creating what doesn't exist yet. But stick her in a traditional leadership role, and suddenly that fire starts to die out. Why? Because most leadership roles aren't built for visionaries. They're built for managers, schedules, meetings, endless check-ins, making sure everyone's happy, even if nothing meaningful is happening. And to a Sigma female, that kind of work is like mental quicksand. It suffocates her creativity and wastes her time. She doesn't want to maintain what already exists. She wants to break it apart and build something better. She's the one who questions the why behind every rule. The one who sees 10 steps ahead while everyone else is still stuck in step 1. She's not interested in keeping systems alive just because they've always worked. If it's outdated, she'll challenge it. If it's inefficient, she'll redesign it. And if it's meaningless, she'll walk away without hesitation. Managing egos, not her thing either. She's too forward-thinking to pause for emotional hand-holding or office politics. She wants minds that move like hers, fast, curious, and unafraid of growth. If people need constant validation or can't handle direct feedback, they probably won't last long in her orbit. What drives her isn't authority, it's impact. It's the freedom to create without being buried in red tape or small talk. It's building something real, something new, something bold. And the moment leadership turns into maintenance, she's already halfway out the door. If you're a Sigma female, stop doubting your power just because you hate the manager part of leadership. You weren't built to oversee, you were built to ignite. Let others keep the systems running. You're here to reinvent the whole damn thing. Number 3, she's deeply autonomous. Here's something people often get wrong about leadership. They think being in charge means having all the power. But for a Sigma female, that's not true. To her, real power is freedom. And if being in charge means constantly compromising who she is just to keep the peace, please others, or stay politically correct, then she'll pass. Sigma females are wired for autonomy. They don't want to be controlled, and they sure don't want to control others. Their independence isn't just about doing things alone. It's about thinking for themselves, setting their own pace, and living by their own rules. The moment someone tries to put limits on her, whether it's a boss, a group, or a system, she starts to pull away. She needs space to breathe, to think clearly, and to work without someone always hovering. That's why being in charge can feel more like a trap than a privilege. Because in most leadership positions, you're expected to play a role. Smile when you don't feel like it. Sugarcoat the truth. Hold back your opinions to avoid ruffling feathers. That's not leadership to a Sigma female. That's acting. And she didn't come here to perform. She'd rather walk away from a leadership role than lose her voice, her values, or her peace of mind. That doesn't make her weak. It makes her unshakably strong. Most people cling to titles for status. She lets them go to protect her soul. And let's be real. Her independence is why people respect her in the first place. She's not chasing approval. She's not playing the game. She's focused on what matters, and she doesn't ask for permission to do things her way. That kind of self-possession is rare and powerful. If you're a Sigma female, never forget this. Your independence isn't something to tone down. It's your edge. Keep protecting it, even if it means walking away from roles that look good on paper, but don't feel right in your spirit. Number 4, she's built to lead minds, not manage people. Let's be honest, most leadership roles today are less about leading and more about managing nonsense. Constant check-ins, putting out emotional fires, smoothing over petty conflicts, dealing with egos that can't handle the truth. It's exhausting. And the Sigma female? She's not built for any of that. She's not here to babysit grown adults who refuse to think. What she is built for is something far more powerful: leading minds. She's the kind of woman who drops one sentence that stays with you for years. She challenges the way you think, questions the way you move, and makes you want to be sharper, better, and more awake. That's her lane: deep thought, vision, and long-term impact. She doesn't motivate people by cheering them on. She motivates by making them think, and that's exactly why she struggles in roles that expect her to constantly hold people's hands or clean up behind those who won't take responsibility. It drains her. She expects people to be self-aware, self-led, and ready to evolve. When they're not, she quietly checks out, not out of arrogance, but because she knows her energy is too valuable to waste on those who won't meet her halfway. Her mind is always running miles ahead, connecting dots others can't even see yet. She's a visionary, not a manager. She leads best when she's creating ideas, shaping strategy, or planting seeds that spark real change, not when she's stuck in endless meetings explaining the same thing 5 times to people who still don't get it. So no, she doesn't hate people, but she's highly selective with where she places her energy. She's not cold, she's just focused. If you're a Sigma female, this is your truth. You were never meant to carry dead weight. You were meant to spark minds, not manage moods. Protect that, own it, and don't let anyone guilt you into playing small just because they don't understand the way you lead. Number 5, she's more dangerous without a title. Here's what most people get completely wrong. They think the Sigma female needs a title to be powerful, that without a fancy role, authority, or recognition, she somehow loses her edge. But the truth? She becomes even more dangerous without one. Titles come with rules, expectations, red tape. When you're in a position of authority, you're often stuck playing nice, managing optics, and tiptoeing around fragile egos. But strip all that away, and give the Sigma female her freedom. And now you've got someone who answers to no one, second guesses nothing, and moves exactly how she wants. That's when she becomes lethal. When she's not tied to a title, she's not bound by anyone's approval. She's not stuck in endless meetings, not wasting time explaining herself to people who don't get it. She's observing, she's thinking, she's moving under the radar. And that's when her sharpest ideas, boldest decisions, and most fearless actions come to life. A Sigma female without a title is not powerless. She's untouchable. She's not limited by structure, by politics, or by the need to play the game. Her mind gets sharper, her instincts get louder, her actions get faster, and because no one sees her coming, she becomes impossible to predict and even harder to stop. She doesn't need the spotlight to have influence. She doesn't need permission to make an impact. She doesn't need validation to know her worth. Her presence alone can shift a room, whether she's wearing a nameplate or walking in as a ghost. If you're a Sigma female, remember this: you're not your title. You never were. Your danger lies in your clarity, your independence, and your refusal to be boxed in. The less they think you matter, the more powerful you become. Because when no one's watching, that's when you move the smartest and strike the hardest. Number 6. Structure feels like a cage. For the Sigma female, structure isn't comforting, it's confining. While some people crave rules, schedules, and a clear chain of command, she sees it all as one big trap. The more rigid the system, the more she feels like she's suffocating. It's not that she can't follow structure, she absolutely can, and often better than most. But when that structure starts limiting her creativity, freedom, and instinct, she feels herself slipping away. Most leadership roles come with a blueprint. Do this, don't do that, speak this way, avoid ruffling feathers, keep everyone happy. It's a checklist designed to keep the peace, not to spark change. And that's exactly the problem. Sigma females aren't here to maintain the status quo. They're built to question, reinvent, and break what no longer works. When they're forced to operate inside outdated systems, they feel like lions in a cage, strong, sharp, but trapped. And here's the thing most people don't see. She's not rebellious just to rebel. She's not trying to be difficult or make a scene. But if something doesn't make sense, she won't pretend it does. If the system is broken, she won't keep playing along. That kind of honesty can make her unpopular in leadership circles that prioritize image over integrity. But she doesn't care. She'd rather be real and free than celebrated and silent. That's why many Sigma females either walk away from traditional leadership roles or outgrow them quickly. They start to feel boxed in, creatively, mentally, emotionally. And once she feels boxed in, she starts plotting her exit. Not to escape responsibility, but to protect her power. If you're a Sigma female, here's your reminder. You weren't born to fit into systems. You were born to challenge them. Don't dull your edge just to keep others comfortable. Structure might work for some, but for you, freedom is fuel. Own that, move differently, and never apologize for needing room to breathe. Number 7. Politics is a language she refuses to speak. Here's the thing about the Sigma female. She's not here to play games, especially not the fake, sugar-coated kind of games that come with politics. In most leadership positions, the higher you go, the more you're expected to wear a mask. Smile when you don't mean it. Compliment people who didn't earn it. Laugh at bad ideas just to keep the peace. But the Sigma female? She doesn't do fake. At all. She's not rude. She's just real. She's honest to the core, sharp enough to see through nonsense, and too grounded in self-respect to flatter her way into approval. That makes her incredibly powerful, but also kind of dangerous to people who are used to manipulation, flattery, or shallow charm. Her silence alone can feel like a challenge because it's not filled with sweet talk or fake warmth. It's just real. And in a world full of political games, real makes people uncomfortable. Leadership often demands you manage up. Say the right things to the right people at the right time to stay in their good books. But the Sigma female finds that exhausting and honestly a little humiliating. She knows her value, and she refuses to shrink herself just to make insecure people feel important. If she can't be honest in a room, she won't stay in it long. This is why so many Sigma women either avoid leadership roles altogether or carve out their own paths where they don't have to play by these rules. They lead best when they're free to tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. They don't want to charm their way to the top. They want to earn their way there on substance, not strategy. If you're a Sigma female, hold on to this truth. You don't need to speak the language of politics when you speak the language of power, clarity, courage, and truth. Keep your honesty sharp, your standards high, and your mask off. You're not here to fit in. You're here to cut through the noise. Number 8. She doesn't want followers. She wants free thinkers. The Sigma female has no interest in building an entourage. She's not looking for applause, admiration, or a crowd of people nodding at everything she says. In fact, if all you can do is agree with her, she'll quietly step away. Why? Because she doesn't want followers. She wants minds that can think for themselves. To her, real leadership isn't about control. It's about awakening people, shaking them out of mental laziness, helping them see beyond what they've been taught to blindly accept. She's not here to be anyone's hero or role model. She's here to light fires. If you walk away from her feeling more aware, more challenged, and more in control of your own mind, that's a win to her. But if you're just waiting for instructions, depending on her to tell you what to do, or seeking her approval for every move you make, she'll lose interest fast. She's allergic to dependency. She doesn't want people orbiting her. She wants people growing beside her. The idea of creating a group of yes women and men, that's her worst nightmare. It's lazy leadership, and she knows it. What she respects is someone who questions her, someone who brings a new angle, someone who can stand firm in their own beliefs, even if it doesn't match hers. That's when she leans in. That's when she sees potential, not just for connection, but for evolution. Because to her, a good leader doesn't gather sheep. They build other lions. So no, she doesn't want a fan base. She wants thinkers, rebels, people who push themselves just as hard as she pushes herself. And if she leads, it's only ever to get you to the point where you don't need her anymore. If you're a Sigma female, remember this. Your power lies in how you free people, not how many follow you. You're not here to create copies. You're here to wake up originals. Number 9. Burnout comes from leading the wrong people. Sigma females don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they're surrounded by the wrong energy. See, the world keeps telling us that leadership is always empowering, that being in charge is some kind of badge of honor. But for a Sigma female, being in charge of people she wouldn't even choose to be around in real life, that's not power, that's punishment. She thrives on depth, deep minds, deep conversations, deep purpose. So when she's handed a leadership role filled with surface-level drama, endless ego-stroking, and people who resist growth, it drains her. It doesn't inspire her, it saps her strength. She ends up spending more time calming tempers, repeating herself or dragging people out of their own excuses than actually moving things forward. That kind of environment eats away at her mental energy day by day. What most people don't realize is that a Sigma female doesn't crave control. She craves alignment. She wants to work with people who have drive, integrity, and self-respect, people who push themselves without needing to be micromanaged, people who value honesty over comfort. That's the kind of team that fuels her. But put her in charge of a group that lacks that, and burnout is inevitable. The mistake is thinking she's not a team player or too intense. The truth is she just has no tolerance for dead weight. She's not going to waste her brilliance hand-holding grown adults who refuse to grow up, and she's not going to sacrifice her peace just to say she's a boss. So if you're a Sigma female, here's the truth. You weren't made to lead everyone. You were made to lead the right ones. The ones who don't drain you, but challenge and uplift you. Never feel guilty for walking away from spaces where you can't breathe. That's not weakness, that's self-preservation. And you've earned the right to protect your fire. Number 10. Her loyalty is to truth, not popularity. In a world where so many leaders are busy polishing their image, saying the right things and playing the game just to stay liked, the Sigma female is a walking contradiction. She doesn't lead to be liked. She doesn't filter her truth to keep the peace. Her loyalty is, and always will be, to truth, not popularity. That makes her rare and dangerous. See, most leadership roles demand a certain level of performance. You're expected to keep things diplomatic, sugarcoat the uncomfortable, and avoid stepping on toes. But the Sigma female doesn't do fake. She doesn't have the patience to flatter fragile egos or pretend something's working when it's clearly broken. If the truth is ugly, she'll still say it. If the truth is unpopular, she'll still stand by it, even if it costs her everything. And that's exactly why she rarely fits into traditional leadership circles, because she exposes what others work so hard to hide. Her words may sting, but they're real. And deep down, even the people who resist her can't ignore the fact that she's usually right. This kind of honesty makes her a threat, not because she's trying to undermine anyone, but because she refuses to play along with lies. She'll call out the hypocrisy. She'll challenge the lazy thinking. She'll question the sacred rules everyone else tiptoes around. And when she speaks, she forces people to confront what they've been avoiding. She doesn't care about applause. She cares about clarity. She doesn't need to be agreed with. She needs to be honest with herself and others. And if that honesty shakes things up, so be it. If you're a Sigma female, remember this. Your truth is your strength. You weren't made to keep people comfortable. You were made to wake them up. Let others chase likes and titles. You're here to cut through the noise. And even if they reject your truth now, they'll remember it later, because real leadership isn't about being liked. It's about being right when it counts. Number 11. Her morals can't be bought. When it comes to her values, a Sigma female doesn't negotiate. Money, status, or perks mean nothing if she has to sacrifice her integrity to get them. She's not in this for the applause or the benefits that come with climbing a ladder. If a promotion or opportunity demands that she mute her principles or play a part that feels fake, she'd rather walk away, no questions asked. This isn't stubbornness or pride. It's a deep-rooted code she lives by. Her sense of self is non-negotiable. The idea of selling out, bending the truth, or compromising her morals just to fit into someone else's mold feels like a slow poison. She knows those shortcuts come with a price far higher than any paycheck or title. Many leaders might sacrifice their values to keep their power or maintain their image, not her. She'd rather be overlooked, underestimated, or even written off than lose the respect she has for herself. Because in her mind, the real loss isn't missing out on perks. It's losing her authenticity and freedom. She's seen firsthand how power can corrupt, how easy it is to get caught in the trap of chasing approval and validation. That's why she guards her moral compass fiercely. No matter what the world offers, she refuses to trade her soul for anything that dims her inner light. If you're a Sigma female, remember this: your integrity is your strongest currency. You don't need to bargain or bargain away your truth for temporary gains. The right opportunities will respect your values, not demand you bury them. Stay true, stay sharp, and know that real power isn't bought, it's earned through unwavering honesty and courage, and that's a kind of wealth no one can take from you. Finally, at the core, the Sigma female was made to lead, but not the way the world expects. She leads quietly, with strength that doesn't demand a title or a spotlight. Her leadership isn't about control or managing others. It's about staying true to herself, inspiring independent thought, and shaking up old systems without getting trapped by them. That's why she hates being in charge in the traditional sense, because the typical version of leadership feels like a cage, not a platform for her unique power. If you're a Sigma female, remember this: your refusal to play the usual leadership game is your greatest strength. You're not here to follow the script or fit into a mold designed by others. You're here to write your own story, to lead by example, and to spark change without losing your soul. It's okay to dislike the role that others crave because your path is different, and that difference makes you rare and valuable. Don't let anyone make you feel less because you reject empty titles or shallow control. Your leadership is deeper, quieter, and far more powerful. It's a force that moves beneath the surface, changing minds and lives in ways that flashy power never could. So, hold your ground. Lead with your mind, your heart, and your unshakable integrity. You weren't born to follow the crowd or to wear a crown you don't want. You were born to lead your own way,